So today we looked at a really interesting add-on which was called ZALCYANS Quest. And within this add-on, you get access to 5 new biomes, a bunch of new mobs, and a ton of new blocks to get access to. Plus, there's even a new vehicle they can drive around in, which I think is absolutely awesome. So if you do want to get this add-on, there will be a link down below in the description. And thanks to the seed that the creator gave us, we have access to pretty much everything right from the start, which is absolutely awesome. Alrighty then, so to get everything to work, you need to make sure that you have experimental gameplay on, and once you've loaded up the seed, all around you will be the 5 new biomes. These biomes look absolutely awesome. Now first biome is going to be an alien looking biome, and this is called the Gullimar, which is home to the eggs. Now there's also a new boss, so if you manage to find one of these towers, then you find yourself a special block, which this is the Egg Elite Stone. Once you're going to break it in survival mode, then you get this guy right here in return. And my goodness, he looks absolutely amazing and also kind of terrifying at the same time. But for this tower, this is not part of the seed. I actually had to go and spawn it in myself because I just couldn't find one whatsoever. So these can be quite rare, I believe. But you can also find another new structure, which is called the Temple, which I also spawned in as well. So if I come down here, then you can find yourself all sorts of different things inside this place. Now sometimes I think it might end up generating inside the trees. Sometimes it may not generate inside the trees, but this is still a pretty cool looking area nonetheless. And this is probably by far one of the cooler looking bombs, besides that bomb, which I'll get onto in a few moments. But for the new mobs, which is the eggs, they can come in different colors. We have a green one. Also, I need to be careful to step on those things. If you step on those blocks up there, then you will get very, very nauseous. And my goodness, that kind of hurt my eyes a little bit. But you can find yourself different colors of these guys, which is really cool, and I like it quite a bit. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and look at all the trees. These are called Gulu trees, and they come up with different blocks. So for the first block that we were stepping on earlier, this is the Gulu cap. If you step on this block, then you'll get yourself the nausea effect, which is not very good whatsoever. And that'll last maybe about 5 to 10 seconds, depending on how long you stay on that thing. So you gotta be very careful that you do not walk on those blocks. But I think it would be pretty cool if you could use these for maybe like a trap. So if I'm going to put carpet right there and I'm going to step on there, we do get ourselves a nausea effect still. So we got the underside of the cap, which is called the Gulu cap end, but there's also the Gulu stems. If you're wondering, these cannot be turned into a plank. Then finally we have ourselves the Gulu bottom. Now you actually cannot turn this into planks either. There is a mushroom, and there's also one that can be put on the sides of blocks, and this is called the Gulu shelf. Now this biome is called the Frasania Forest. And you also get yourself this really ominous fog. Now for this biome itself, they stated that these mushrooms are thousands of years old. So we have this mob, which is called the Frisk Beetle. Just look at this beetle. He is pretty cool looking and also very cute at the same time. It reminds me of a flying endermite. Let's go and see these new trees, which they do come with different blocks as well. So a lot of different blocks. So we have the Frisk vines, the Frisk cap, but it looks really interesting and probably a really cool block. But there's also new mushrooms, there is the cap itself, and then coming down here we have the stems themselves, and these stems cannot be turned into planks yet either. But now if I go down here, we have the Frisk roots. So you know a tree is not complete unless it has roots. And the creator did state that this biome is going to be home to the marauders. So as you look around here, you'll find yourself these towers. And marauders, they can also be found in other biomes inside your world within spaceships. And I will be getting onto that in a few moments. But for these particular structures, you can find this block called the pod stone. And this can summon in a pod that you can ride around, which is absolutely cool. Now the way that this works is that it depends on the direction that you're looking. So if you look up, you fly up. You look down, you fly down. If you look to the sides, then you go in that direction. But I like this quite a bit, and this biome is probably one of the more interesting ones, and definitely a really cool experience. Wait, is that dungeon? I just found a Minecraft dungeon inside of here. So if I go ahead and look inside of here, what do we get? Some pretty decent stuff. Lots of forest armor. Inside of here, we got ourselves a music disc, and even a saddle, and a bunch of rubber stuff as well. And now for our next biome, this is called the Marin, which you can find a new mob called the Millies. So as we come down here, these are basically going to be creatures that live up inside the trees, and these trees look really interesting. But whenever we look inside these places, you can find yourself spawners. And these are where the millies are going to be found. There are two types of millies. There is the red millie, then there's also a white variant as well, which is right down here. And I believe that these guys will attack you, so you gotta be quite careful about them. Now let's take a look at the blocks of this biome. So you can find yourself lower leaves, lower log planks, we have lower log stripped, the lower logs, then we have a carved log variant, we have the lower log chipped, and then the lower zol, and then finally we have the lower zol dirt. And these blocks do look really interesting. Now before we take a look at the next biome, I want to go ahead and show you this ship right here. So these are going to be marauder ships, and whenever you find them, then these will basically act like dungeons. If you're not careful, then you might find yourself some marauders. And marauders, they do not like you at all. So you gotta be very careful about that. But it looks like you can find loot inside of here. But what do we get? Ooh, we get ourselves a blaster. Does it actually function? It actually functions like a blaster. And it's powerful as well. Oh my goodness, we blasted the meat off his bones. This gun should not be in my hands. Now you can also find the ships up in the air as well. But let's go ahead and come over to this next biome, which this is a biome that is mostly made out of obsidian. Now there's also this other block, which is called lower rock. And then I think that might be the only two blocks inside this area. And there's also smokers as well, which I can see how all the ash is coming down. It's coming down from all these smoker pillars. This is more like a volcanic biome more than anything. But you can find this new kind of mob, which the marauders can actually ride these as well. But these are called lower crawlers. And the cool thing about these is that you can also ride on them. Now the creator did state that if you have a lower gem, then you can actually control these. So you see we have ourselves a gem right here, and wherever we look, it's now going to control where this crawler goes. Okay, this is by far probably one of the coolest mobs that we have inside this add-on. Now there's also another new mob called the lower lander, but I'm not exactly too sure how rare those guys are, but I think that these guys, they are neutral towards you, and you can trade with them. Now this is the lower lander. He's basically a rogue egg. So from the eggs from the other biome, these are basically ones that went rogue and decided to go and travel across the lands. But let's go and see what he actually offers. Because as I mentioned earlier, you can trade with them, and you need to either use the broken lower gem or use the lower gems. Now let's go talk about on how you can find these gems. Because according to the creator, you need to keep an eye out for some pockets, which we have found ourselves a pocket right here. Now in these pockets, you'll find lower minerals, and this is how you're going to get yourself the lower gems. But there's also this other ore, which is the lower mineral ore, which I think might be the same as the lower mineral, but just in an ore form. We're on to a very peaceful mystical biome, which is called the Moonland. In this biome, you can find this new flying mob, which is called the Kraken, or the Creation, don't know how to pronounce that. But these things, look at that. It just looks so relaxing just to watch them flap around. You can also find the Moonland trees, which they come in a multitude of different blocks. So you can find yourself vines, you have the Moonland stem base, you also got yourself the Moonland crystals, and now there's also going to be these new mushrooms. There's also a new boss mob you can find here as well, which is called the Aganar. And this guy, oh my goodness, he looks absolutely terrifying, but also pretty cool at the same time. I really have to say that this add-on is probably one of the more interesting add-ons that I've seen in quite a while. I want to go and show you 3 more mobs that we have not looked at in any of the biomes. So the first one is called the Leas, and I'm not exactly too sure which biome this might be found in. It's either the biome they were just in, or it's going to be in the biome where the eggs live. I'm not entirely sure about that. I'm just going to go ahead and let you be. You're having a very hard time, as I can see. But there's also the Lea Giants, which these also enjoy wigging out. Yeah, I'm not entirely too sure exactly what's going on with those mobs, but they both look really cool. But with that being said, there's also the final mob, which is the Glistening Mite, which obviously is going to be found in that other red biome we found, the volcanic biome. And with that, that's basically it for everything that we have in ZALCYANS Quest. And I say, from all the stuff that we've seen in this add-on, the creator has done an absolutely great job. I do want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments on what you think of this add-on. If you enjoyed today's video, then please leave a like on it, subscribe if you're new around here, and don't forget to turn notifications on. And for now, I hope you have a logical day, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.